What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Hardworking Happy Hour. I'm Sean.
And I'm Catherine, and as always, we'll be breaking down all things trades, entrepreneurship, and turning your creativity into a passion career. Sean Collinsgrew, how are you doing this morning?
Oh, I'm doing so good. How the hell are you doing? How the hell are you?
Oh, so good. So good.
God, I haven't seen you in like 16 hours. How you been?
I
My
know.
God.
Honestly, a lot has happened.
It sounds like it. We briefly chatted for about 30 seconds. You told me about all these new things. You moved one chair out of one room into another. I don't know how you find the time. It's unbelievable.
I know. Amazing.
A little Feng Shui in your house. Moving the furniture around.
Yep.
Good
Oh, God,
stuff.
I love Feng Shui.
God, good stuff. There's nothing better than just moving furniture around. It's
Honestly,
heavy. It's big.
Okay, so I do this constantly. I move furniture around, and I always say it's because of Feng Shui. And Pat's like, you're not really actually doing that. But I say it is. And in my heart, it is my Feng Shui. But the other day, I completely rearranged our living room, and we have this piece of furniture in our living room that must weigh like 600 pounds. It's so heavy.
What is it?
And I moved it by myself. The thing that our TV sits on, it's like
okay.
buffet credenza thing. I don't know what you'd call it. But it's a massive piece of furniture, and I scratched the floors all up, and he was so angry. But I was so proud that I moved everything in the living room by myself.
Good job. I mean,
he made me move it back.
The house is like you moved it back?
He moved it back.
Was this We came over your house for New Year's Eve. Was this post New Year's Eve? This was previous. Previous,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So it had changed and then gone back.
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
Good
Feng Shui to move it and then bring it back.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well,
anywho.
New year, new us, new podcast, same us actually, but new and improved a little bit. Better, hopefully. I mean, that's the goal here, right? So, let's just jump into it. We got a lot to talk about today, and let's just jump into some of it because we got a bunch of mini topics today that we want to riff on. And you know what? I'll start off. All
right, what's on your mind, Sean?
Big win for me.
Okay.
I want to talk about a big win. And
let's hear it.
Well, you already know about it.
Oh, okay.
And for you, we'll see if you think it's a win.
Okay.
One of my things, we had talked about it on the podcast months ago, was the idea that we need to create more policies. And one of them is the PTO policy, paid time off.
Yes.
And we have finally come to a policy there, and maybe everybody's happy with it. Maybe they're not. I don't know.
We're all talking behind your back. We hate it.
Of course you do. That's why I hate being. That's why I hate doing like actual boss stuff, like policies. It's just I hate the idea of policies, but we had to. Now there's 6 of us. And we need like some sort of policy so that people know how much time they can take off. You know, they don't feel bad when they do, or if people are taking too much time off, they know where the limit is. So we had to just have something so everyone is playing on the same playing field and everyone gets the same thing, and it's fair for everybody. So what I came up with was, well, should I tell a little bit of the genesis?
Whole story.
Okay, why not? All right.
Just so people know.
So we use a payroll company, and they're payroll and also an HR company. So they do all of that. You can outsource your HR policies, your payroll. So they've been doing our payroll for a couple years now. And I figured, okay, we need to create this PTO policy. What better resource to lean on than our company that we've been working with for a couple years on payroll? So reached out to them and said, hey, I want to create a solid PTO policy for the company, and I'm not sure where to start, but, what can we do here? How can you help us with this? So she said, absolutely, we can do this. And side note, it's only $150 to come up with a policy. I was like, that seems so cheap. I thought it was going to be like, I don't know, $1,000 or whatever. Anyway, nice. So
there's a win.
Great deal on it. But I was like, just, I guess, come up with a kind of framework that's standard. You've done this a lot, obviously. I haven't. And then we can work off of that. So the first thing that she came back with was you have 5 sick days essentially for a full-time employee that are mandated by New Jersey state law. I think that's a New Jersey law, not a federal law. But so those, like, you have to have 5 sick days. So we've already kind of had those through the payroll system accruing. And she added 5 vacation days. And I was like, okay, so I guess this is standard. She writes a lot of these 5 vacation days, 5 sick days. I don't know. I've never actually like worked anywhere. I've never had a vacation policy. So I was like, okay, well, that seems standard, but I'm a nice guy. I'm a nice, cool boss. So let's do 8 vacation days and the 5 sick days. So I come in and I kind of run it by you and Steve, and your initial thing was, I've never worked anywhere that had less than 10 vacation days and the sick time. So I was like, okay, well, let's work on this a little bit more then. Obviously,
I wasn't saying it in a bratty way and that we should change. I was just simply stating I had never worked anywhere that gave you less than 10 days as like a base level entry employee.
I don't think that you were trying to be bratty about it. Like, I want more. I don't want to work here. No, you were just kind of stating a simple fact, and it was quite evident just by that was your initial statement. Okay, well, this isn't a policy that everyone's going to be like, oh, this is amazing. You're such a nice guy giving us those extra days. So went back to the drawing board a little bit, and the other thing that I had to wrap my head around was, how does the time accrue? Can you have it pile up and roll over? We also have rain days that we get off a lot of times. I mean, the van crew media team can continue to work on rain days, so it's only kind of applicable for half of us. But that was another thing that I had to kind of wrap my head around and figure out. So finally, we did land on a policy, and this is the policy. It is, we have the 5 sick days. We've got 10 vacation days, and you can accrue a collective rollover of up to 5 weeks. So, if you essentially start out with 3 weeks, if say you only use 5 of those days in the first year, you can accrue up to 5 weeks. So that's what I came up with. I guess it's probably not the world's best vacation PTO policy, but especially for our first one, it was something that I felt was manageable, sustainable, because there's a lot of unpredictability with rain days and things like that. And, there's still a lot of people in this industry that are just getting paid hourly. So I wanted to make sure that it was like something that's sustainable. And maybe at the end of the year, it's like, okay, this went really well. Like, it when people took off, it didn't impact us whatsoever. Like, we kind of made adjustments and knowing when people were going to take off, it worked out great. So, maybe it's something that can be adjusted later, but this is what I felt like was a manageable first policy. And, hopefully everybody's happy with it, but everyone's going to be on the same playing field. Everyone knows when they can take off and all that kind of stuff. And for the most part, I think everyone's probably taken less time than that off per year.
Yeah.
Majority of us, I'll say that. But
I would think so, yeah.
So, like somebody like Nick, he started like a little over a year ago, and he's probably taken like 5 days off. So he's going to look at it and be like, I got an extra 10 days I can take off. So for him, it's going to be a big win. And same thing with Ant. Ant doesn't take that many days off. And he was like, I'm just going to rack them up. And whatever I have left at the end of the year, I'm just going to be like, all right, well, I'll see you January 1st or January 2nd, because I got 6 or 7 more days left, and I'm just taking them all at the end of the year. So everyone can use them however the heck they want. And
he was talking about selling them. He was really jazzed.
He was
some sort of like trade marketplace for these days.
He was creating his own microeconomy of these days. It was, and I was like, dude, whatever you want, you can trade them. You can figure that out amongst yourselves. I don't care. Just let me know. But overall, what do you think of the policy? What do you think of the policy?
Excuse me.
It's that bad?
It's bad. It's bad. No, I think that it's good. Like I said, when I came to you with that feedback, I've worked at like corporate places, but I do think that we're a little bit different because we are on salary, and that's like the point of being on salary is like you have how like everyone knows how much they're going to get paid because they're on salary, and then your days are part of your compensation package, which like all we have. We have health insurance and we have 401k and then we have vacation days. Like all of that is part of a employee's compensation package. And that always felt like the loose end that we didn't have this package and people were kind of like, well, I don't know. Can I take off? I don't know how many days I've taken off. And I went to Italy and I took off 9 days for that. So it's like, I was like, oh, that's a lot, but I don't know. Like it's this is my once in a lifetime trip. I'm flying all this way. Like I want to take off this time. Is that okay? I didn't take any other vacation days, but like, is that okay? I don't know. So I feel like
you're
just.
fired.
Oh God, it was months ago. Now I'm fired.
I thought it was only 8 days. You took off. It was 9. Too many. You're fired.
Yeah. Well, it was going to be 8, but then you told me that I should because I was going to work the day that we left. But you're like, no, just take off. So that was on you.
That's okay. All right. So I am a nice guy. Listen to me. No, that was just going to be ridiculous. Like you had like a 14-hour flight ahead of you. You were leaving at like whatever, and you're like, I'll work a half day. I'm like, just take off. Just take off. I don't need you forgetting something, for your trip just because you worked a half day and, Yeah. So.
And I think that when like, which I still think it's insane that they suggested 5 because that's basically just one, like usually people should take, like if you're looking at like a mental health standard for people should be taking at a bare minimum 5 days off a year. Like they should be taking 5 consecutive days off per year as just as a mental health refresh. That should be like standard across the board. So if for them to offer you 5 days and then it's like then nothing else, it's kind of like, well, what if like literally anything else happens? Like I can't have one single day for like a long weekend, or like what if my kid's in a play and I want to take off some time? Like it just seems like insane to just be like you get 5 days and then that's it, to me personally. And when people are hourly, I understand that that's like a different type of employment. So maybe I'm coming in too hot with my corporateness, but like as like a salaried employee, I just view it as part of your compensation package. And I think it also makes it a lot easier to plan because I think when people know that they have these vacation days and these sick days, not that you can plan sick days unless it's for something medical, but you kind of just, you're looking at your year more so like, all right, well, I know I have these days. Like, when do I want to take that? When is my vacation going to be? How many days am I going to have left over? And it's just like better to let you know. It's rather than being like, I'm going to take off a week in a week. Is that okay? I just feel like it. And maybe you don't care about that, but to me, it feels better to just be able to plan things like, okay, we know, Anthony takes his vacation every year in July or whatever. We know he's going to be gone for that week.
Steady Eddie. Same week every year, same place.
And we absolutely plan around it. So I feel like if we're all on that same page where we're kind of like aware and planning around those things, it's just better for everyone. And as an employee, it's just nice to know when, like now I know I have these days, I can use them or I can let them roll over, or like, it feels better to know rather than to just not have a policy. And when it comes to like sick time or whatever, like if you want to have a personal conversation with somebody about like, moving those things around or whatever, that's up to you. Like, if you still want to be a nice guy, but for the most part, we're all now on the same page. Everybody's kind of aware of what they got. And it's just a little piece of mental
clarity.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I'm happy with the policy. I know you're worried about that, and I'm just happy we have a policy. So I'm very glad.
Yeah.
5 seemed insane though. So sorry.
Yeah. Well, look, I've like I said, I've never worked anywhere. Like I've never like had a job where like the last job I think I had before starting this company I was landscaping. You don't get any sick days or any vacation days. Yeah. There might have been a state law that you were supposed to, but we never got any. And I don't know. It's just So I never worked anywhere, so I don't know what's, especially not any type of corporate thing. And I guess I don't know. She probably writes HR policies for like small construction companies all the time, and probably looked at it like, oh, okay, like this is like a 6-person total company. they're probably not on the same scale of somebody that's going to offer 4 weeks vacation. So like, very small companies, they're just doing this for the first time, like 5 standard. So 10 days total, 5 sick days, 5 vacation days. So, and then when I said, why don't we make it 8? She said, oh, that's very generous. And I'm like, whoa, look at me. Okay.
Nice guy.
Yeah. That feeling was usurped from me very quickly when I came into the van.
I do apologize.
No, it's okay. That's what I need. I need your perspective.
Completely unrelated to ours, because we obviously don't work for the state, but I was talking to our friend who works for the state about their time off policy, and they get 30 days off.
It's like you're barely working anymore.
I was like, man, no wonder stuff is like so slow with the state. 30 days? That's insane.
What is that? That's 6 weeks.
And if there was I don't know if it rolls over. I'm not sure, but I feel like you let that.
It probably
you
does.
let that roll over, and then you're just off for 6 months.
I feel like people that work for the state, by the time they're ready to retire, they have so much like accumulated. They're like, yeah, I'm retiring technically in like 2 years, but I'm using all my sick time and I'm done now. It's like ridiculous. It's insane. That probably is why stuff takes so long with the state. And my mom, she has so much sick time and vacation time and personal days and all this kind of stuff. It's like she's always rolling them into like over Christmas to New Year. She was off for like 21 days or something. It's like, oh, I took 3 here, 2 there, 5 here. And she works for a nonprofit. And it's like, well, no wonder it's nonprofit, because nobody's working there. So, well, that was something that, we had talked about on the podcast. I wanted to come up with a policy. The policy is done. It is implemented, and we can move on. Adjustments can be made in the future if need be, if we see fit, but the policy is done, and it's one of those things that I hate doing. I hate being I like owning a business, but I hate being like the business owner that has to do like the stuff that like maybe some people are going to be happy with, maybe some people are going to be upset by. I don't know. I hate doing that, but it was something that had to be done. It's done. It's implemented. We'll see how it works. And you can outsource this kind of stuff. So we'll see. Maybe we'll incorporate some other HR policies that they can help us with, like an employee handbook or something. I don't know.
Okay. What do we need for that?
I don't know. Just like
harassment clauses and
I don't know what's in them. I've never had one. So
it's mostly harassment policies.
Oh, it is? I thought it was mostly like word searches and crosswords, but
you can add those. Maybe.
Okay. Is it mostly just harassment policies?
Yeah, it's like harassment, anti-discrimination, time off is in there.
Okay.
Yeah, I have that. We should have one, but I don't think it's necessarily super applicable to what we need, but
yeah, see, I don't know.
Maybe it's one of those things, before it becomes a problem. We have one. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, so that's it for my little win. Let's
HR corner.
HR corner. All right. So it's also wintertime right now. It is the first of the year. It's freezing. It's getting really cold. So I wanted to real quick just give a little side segment and give our best tip for staying warm. What's your best tip for staying warm in the cold weather? Because today I think it's supposed to be like a high of maybe 35 degrees. It's going to be pretty chilly. Break it down for us. What do you got?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, number one, investing in like good quality, like thermal underwear. And is that the right word? Thermal underwear? That doesn't sound right. Thermal.
Well, I think I just call them thermals.
Thermals.
Yeah, when you say thermal underwear.
Thermal underwear. Which I do have a side rant about that, but that's unrelated. But thermal underwear. But beyond that, I don't use heat in my car in the winter. Well, like on work days, I don't use heat in my car. So then my body like acclimates to it, because I feel like you get all bundled up, you get in your car, your truck or whatever, you turn the heat on, you're still wearing that jacket. Then you just got to get out of your truck in that same jacket. And now you're freezing because you were just in that jacket in the warm. So no heat. Don't do it.
All right, so that's your tip.
Until the end of the day. I feel like it made a huge difference. Once I started doing that, I do feel like it made a big difference. Because you would get like cozy in your car on your way to work.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
you just get outside and then it's like a 40-degree temperature difference. And you're like, wait, why am I so cold now? It's like, well, you were just wearing the exact same thing you're wearing
Yeah.
now outside with a very drastic change. So I feel like that is my number one tip. Maybe you don't,
that's
but
bold.
I think it's pretty cool. But
That's bold.
number 2 about thermals, I went to Costco to get these thermals because I actually found a brand that I really liked that was at Costco.
What is it, 32-degree heat?
It is. And they're
Yeah.
super thin and they're not like super restrictive, but they actually work really well. And the men's is like a crew neck. The women's is a scoop neck. What?
I don't know what that means.
Like it's like a like it shows your décolletage.
What? What is that?
Your chest, not, not
what is that word?
scandalously, but décolletage. This thing that
I can't wait to use that
under
in
your
the summer when
collarbones.
I'm wearing a tank top.
Oh yeah.
How do you like the décolletage? That is a fun word. I really like that word. Décolletage.
It's a good word. It is.
Okay.
But yeah, I was like, what? Like, my décolletage won't get cold. Why does mine need to be out? The men's is all the way up here. So now I just bought all men's stuff because I was like, this is ridiculous.
It
That
does
was my
seem.
side. Like, if you're wearing thermals, you're not going to be wanting that thing out. Like, if
Your
anything,
décolletage,
a turtleneck is better.
You're losing most of your heat through your décolletage.
Exactly.
Everyone knows that. That's keeping warm 101.
Exactly.
Yeah, I can't understand like an outfit where that would be applicable.
Yeah, it doesn't
Like
make any
that you
sense.
would want like like you don't want to be like too bundled, but like why would you be? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, so I didn't like that.
Okay, well, yeah, shame on them.
So buy men's things if you happen to be a woman.
Okay, tip number 2. That's a good tip. And I think this is not. Well, maybe that is thermal. Maybe that is thermal, still thermal undergarments. But when I think of thermal, I think of like the cotton,
The waffle knits.
Waffle knits, yeah, like that.
Yeah,
that's,
that stuff's polyester. Waffle knits like a cotton. You're right.
yeah, and that's amateur hour because it gets all
The cotton is amateur hour.
Well, is it not? No, maybe it's not. I don't know. It always goes back and forth. They're like, you need these high performance synthetic type of things. Then they're like, no, the organic cotton is naturally breathable and all this kind of stuff.
I do feel like the breathable is better in some instances because sometimes you get like a little sweaty after you've been working for a while, and then that polyester, you're just kind of like roasting in your own sweat.
Yeah, you got the décolletage all roast.
Décolletage. That's where the breathability comes in.
You didn't make up that word? That's a real word.
That's a real word.
Décolletage. Wow. It's a fun word. I really like that word. All right. Well, yeah, so having those high performance undergarments, I guess I'll give 2 of my best things that I've found to be impactful here. So,
okay.
Number 1 is having those high performance under layers. So,
you like Columbia, right?
I have some. What I have found is that, especially on the very cold days, having the good stuff, So I've got some Columbia. It's got like that like aluminum foil, like look, like it's very reflective. I don't know, like the thing that you wear after you run a marathon. People put on that, like, I don't know what, the foil blanket. I don't understand.
I think it's
what
aluminum
that's for.
foil. Yeah,
it's something like that. Yeah. I have some of that, and it's a little pricey. It was probably, I don't know, $100-$120 for the pants and the shirt, but it works really good, and it's lightweight and it's flexible. Like this, it's flexible. And yesterday I had on the Under Armour version of those. So the top and the pants, those are a little heavier, but they're so warm. They're super warm. And the shirt is probably like $60. The pants are like maybe $80, but they work super well. And you still have that flexibility. And it doesn't feel like when you're outside and it's freezing, you're warm, but I feel like when you go inside, it's not like you're immediately sweating like you are sometimes with like fleece lined stuff or Sherpa, like, that stuff. It's like you're immediately like hot. This stuff, it just like regulates your temperature really well. So when you go inside, you're not like, oh my God, it's so hot. But when you go outside, you're like, it's not that cold.
Yeah.
So that's been a game changer for me. And number 2, I would say, is having gloves. You got to have gloves.
Got to cover those digits. My God.
You have to. And one of my biggest problems is I always lose them. I lose them. So what I did is I went to Harbor Freight. They've got a great selection of gloves. I bought a ton of them. Different kinds. I got the regular, just like knit, latex covered ones that are for when it's just a tiny bit cold. I got the more like padded ones with the straps for when it's even that little bit colder. And then I got some like fleece lined ones that are waterproof for when it's really cold. Yeah. So I got all bases covered, and there's nothing worse when, you know, your whole body is like fairly warm, but your hands don't work. They're freezing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's when I go for the hot hands in the jacket pocket, the hand warmers in the pockets. Because then if you like, because there are things that you need to do that you can't be wearing gloves at all. So then you stick your hot hands in your pockets, then you can warm your little digits up real quick. Then you're back in business.
Yeah.
But when you said you keep losing them, it made me think of those, you know, when you're like for toddlers where they have like a clip on the glove and then a clip on the sleeve for the jacket.
That would probably, yeah. Then I would just lose the whole jacket probably. Yeah, but that's really a game changer. It really is, because the first like really cold day, whatever day we were there and we had the stone delivered and we had to wheelbarrow it because the dingo was broken again. Mm-hmm. That I didn't have the proper gloves on, and I got that feeling where like your hands don't feel cold anymore. They just feel like incredibly sharp pain. You know what I mean? Yeah. When like it's beyond getting cold, and I'm like, all right, I need to. That's when I stepped aside and got the hand warmers and warmed them up, and then I felt better. But staying warm, it's important. So take that for what you will. Yeah. Invest in some good gear.
There's no such thing as bad weather, just improper dress or whatever.
That's a good point. Yeah, because speaking on that, my son Maxwell, he goes to nature school 2 days a week. They're outside all the time. He loves it. He's
like
obsessed.
There is no indoor place, just for clarification.
There's no
like
indoor.
Not that they just play outside a lot. They just don't go inside.
The classroom is outside. Yes. It's like in a nook of trees. It's really cool. He loves it. He absolutely loves it. There is like a barn, like an open, it's not a closed barn, it's an open barn. If like there's thunderstorms, they can go in there. But otherwise, snow, rain, sleet, hail. Maybe hail they would go in there. Maybe hail they would.
Get outside, kids.
Put on your helmet and go outside. They just stay outside. And I'm like, there's no way he's going to like this. But, you know, they recommend like certain types of clothes and stuff. Like, hey, make sure they have this and this and this, waterproof boots and like some rain gear for when it's raining. And he loves it. He doesn't complain at all. He's like, yay, it's raining. I get to stomp in puddles all day. He freaking loves it. So there's a testament to there is no bad weather, just bad preparation in your gear.
Yes.
That's it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's enough for that little segment. What else? Okay. I got another thing that I want to talk about that I think is a really interesting idea that was kind of presented to me.
You've got a lot on your mind.
Oh, there's so much. I'm running 1,000 miles an hour here. All right, so we just finished up another project, and it turned out really well. I was really happy with it. Everything came together beautifully, and the client very happy with it as well. Very happy with it. So much so that he said, "Hey, if you're interested." They're in this like lake community subdivision kind of thing. There's probably, I don't know, a couple hundred homes back there. But they have like their own Facebook group for the community, and it's pretty active, I guess. And he was like, hey, if you're interested, I'm not sure how much work you have lined up and all that kind of stuff or how busy you are, but I was thinking I could post in our community Facebook group and say, set up like an open house where neighbors could come, because I guess other people have done that in the neighborhood when they get work done. And even the guy that was there doing their siding while we were there, the next week he was a couple houses down doing siding. So there's been, he said that they had found this company and they were from PA, but they've since gotten like 6 jobs just in that neighborhood, because there's so much word of mouth, and it's like a, once they find somebody that's good, everybody starts using them. So he was like, we can, I can set up an open house, like on a Saturday or something, and just say, hey, the contractor will be here. You can tour the backyard and see everything. And I was like, number one, that's awesome that you would even, be happy enough with the backyard and the work that like you would think to do something like that. And number two, I'm like, that's a really, really good idea. It's like an amazing idea. Like what better like home show type of booth could you have than a real backyard that you did that turned out awesome, that is like, it's a lake subdivision, so most of the houses are on the water, and you see what a lakeside deck looks like by being there, meeting me. I just thought like, what, that would be an absolute grand slam idea. If we do that, we could get a bunch more projects in that area. It's super cool because it's on a lake. It's just a really cool neighborhood. The township kind of sucks to deal with, but that's neither here nor there. But I just thought that was really cool. Number one, that they were happy enough with the project that they would like want to like go, not even just an extra mile. It's like an extra 5 miles for us to like, plan something like this, have neighbors over, strangers even come to their backyard, see it, and let me like hang out there and pitch what we do. I just thought that was super cool, a unique idea that I hadn't heard of before, and I'm excited to try it. What do you think about it?
No, I think that it's a great idea, and especially in these communities where, I don't want to say people are nosy, but people are kind of looky-loos as you're building. They're kind of like, what do you, and especially because we're in the backyard, you're not really seeing exactly what we're doing. So it's kind of like, well, what's going on? What's Mr. Jones got going on back there? Mm-hmm. So I feel like this is a great thing for, especially these little tight-knit communities to have, an open house like this. And especially this community, other than, the permitting process is a little bit of a pain, but other than that, the community was great to work in. It wasn't, it's not like miserable access or anything. Like the community was great. So I think that it's a phenomenal idea, and I'm thrilled that they're so happy with it. And I think that when a person is considering hiring you, obviously like word of mouth is the best kind of recommendation. But I feel like there's still those people out there that kind of have the mindset of like, oh, I would build it myself, but I just don't have the time or whatever, like those kinds of people. And they really want to see the quality of work that you do. And this is like the perfect example of that. Like you get to see the finished product. You get to see everything. You get to touch it. You get to be on it. You get to talk to the contractor. Like it's the best of all of the world. So I think it's great. When are we going to do it? In the spring?
Yeah, I think so. I'm super excited about it. The interesting thing about it is that I guess you could like, if you're certain that the homeowner's really happy with it, like pitch the idea to them, like, hey, can I have an open house?
You like this so much, right?
Yeah. That probably wouldn't even work. Like you can't even.
Yeah. I mean, I think sometimes with clients, you get so close to them that I feel like you could. Like the house that we're working at right now, I feel like we probably could.
Yeah. Well, this one, they're just going to have like, they host so many parties and everything, and we know them, so we'll be invited. We'll just be there. So yeah, I feel like you maybe could, but like it wouldn't be the same as like them like putting it together and posting it to like this group. So like they are we could just say, hey, is it all right, like, if we kind of like set up the backyard to bring some clients over and check it out? Like, I'm sure a lot of clients would be completely fine with that, but it's definitely not the same as like, here's this community Facebook group. A person from that community is posting, hey, we just got this work done. And we're setting up this open house. So come by, check it out. If you want to see it, the contractor is going to be there. If you want to meet them, all of that stuff like that. That's like so like targeted. And I just feel like that's such a home run. Like if people come and check it out and they're interested in a backyard, the homeowners just vouch for it. You see the work in person, you meet the contractor, everything's right there. You can talk about budget and like how much this costed with them right there. Yeah. And you could do something kind of similar where like you're hosting it and you're maybe inviting some potential clients, but it's definitely not the same as like, hey, invite all your neighbors, and it's getting the invite from you, not from like just the contractor that they don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I do think that would, maybe you could, potentially if you get close to, whatever, and that it is a tight-knit community and they probably have a Facebook group and blah, blah. Maybe you could say like, if you host this, if you post it, I'll give you $1,000 off or something like that. Maybe some sort of incentive, but yeah, like this is there's no comparable thing to just having them organically come up to you with this idea. That is pretty amazing. Yeah.
I thought it was awesome. And we always try to go the extra mile for people and like, do everything to the best of our ability. And, when things go wrong, like change it up or, just be like, just do things that go above and beyond. Like on that project, we did the hidden phone charger in the the bar top. We ended up adding the idea of the recessed TV, and like all of those things, are things that we know we're going to come up with little ideas on the way, and we're not going to like nickel and dime to people like, oh, well, in the rendering, it's just a flat wall. So if you want to recess it, it's going to be an extra $800. It's like, we know, hey, if we think of something like that's just a little bit cooler, like we're going to do that. So, you do those things throughout the project, and obviously it was received well by them because, they want to do this for us. And I thought it was super cool, unique idea. Something that you could maybe implement, or if you just ask them if they are okay with you like hosting it, and just say, hey, I'm going to put a sign in your front yard that says open house with the contractor X day at this time. And then it's like the neighbors will end up seeing it. And maybe that's a way that you could kind of host it on your own without them doing it. But even then, you'd have to be pretty close with them and feel like you have a really good working relationship.
Yeah. And I feel like that Facebook group thing is like,
that's next level.
That's like the home run. That's really what's going to get people.
Yeah. So, okay, something to think about. I just thought that was really cool. Another thing that I had written down here for topics that I wanted to clean out of the junk drawer a little bit was something I think we're going to save for another episode, which is some ideas for bonuses.
Back to HR corner.
I feel like that's bonuses are more exciting than HR. It falls under their umbrella, but it's like a separate, like, cool side of HR.
Cool side.
The cool side.
We're not just the regular side. We're the cool side.
We're the cool side of HR. So I've had a lot of ideas about incentives and all this kind of stuff, but I think that's something that we can cover in a totally other episode.
Because we'll save that for next week.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff to kind of talk about there. So I guess from here we can just go into what is that thing that we do. You can, there you go. There it is.
I don't know what's working.
Oh, there you go. It's time for our working happy hour trivia, construction trivia. All right, where are we at on this? Where are we at?
Oh, score-wise. Let's see. Last week we tied.
Oh, we did?
Yeah, so
nice.
I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm up by 1.
Okay. All right.
Let's see if you
all right,
can
why don't you
tie
go?
it up again.
Yeah. This has been remarkably even, back and forth.
I know.
So I feel like we're doing pretty good on that. All right. Why don't you start? You ask me.
Okay, true or false?
Okay.
A Menzie muck is a walk-behind skid steer. Menzie muck, it's a piece of equipment. Is it a walk-behind skid steer?
A what?
A Menzie muck.
Is that a brand, are you saying? Or is that like...
I think it's like when you say like a Kleenex is a tissue. It's like it's the brand's name, but I think it's like its own thing.
False.
Correct. Do you want to guess what it actually is?
A Menzie muck?
A Menzie muck.
A bulldozer.
No, it's an excavator where it has 4 legs and the legs move independently. So it's called a walking excavator. Each leg has a wheel on it, so it can like go like a regular excavator, but it can like walk up like mountains. It's really cool.
Okay. Oh, cool. All right. A Menzie muck.
A Menzie muck.
Right. All right. Well, good to start off with a little win there.
You got some juice. You got some juice.
I got some juice. All right. Keep up with me here. So,
I don't have a pen. Oh, I do. Okay.
All right. We had talked about at some point, I forget when, like they talk about bridges, painting bridges. You know, once you get to one side, you know, you got to start over on the other side.
Oh yeah.
Never ends.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't sure if that's just a saying or if it's true. So I've got a specific example here.
Okay.
The Golden Gate Bridge.
Mm-hmm.
The paintwork on that literally never ends.
Yeah.
True or false?
I'm gonna go true.
It is true.
When you're around water, that would be incredibly corrosive. Like the salt water.
Bridges are kind of always around water.
Yeah, but think about how foggy it is there.
Yeah. It is because it's
like
also
boats,
salt water.
Yeah, like boats really like they're in the water, but there's a vast majority of them that are out of water, but like it's so much more corrosive to be like if you live in a boat or if you live in a house, there's a lot more maintenance in a boat than in a house. So I would imagine, yeah.
Okay, yeah, you're right. It is a very harsh environment because of the salt water, the fire, you know, all of that kind of stuff. So it's literally always undergoing paintwork, which I thought was, I don't know if we talked about it on the podcast or we were just talking about it personally, but maybe figure out something else you can make them out of. That just seems like a lot of work.
It does seem like a lot of work.
It seems like so much work, but okay. Well, good job. Tied up.
Thank you, Ted. Okay, so which is not a common method for excavating tunnels? Tunnel excavation.
Okay.
A, the cut.
A real boring topic.
Exactly. A, cut and cover. B, boring tunnels. C, immersed tube tunnel. Or D, excavated air tunnel.
I don't know. I feel like if one of them's fake, you did a good job coming up with the name.
Thank you.
I'm going to say the excavated air tunnel.
Incorrect.
What is it?
The immersed tube tunnel.
That's a good one. That sounds more like something that would be in Mario. All right, good job.
I went on these are the questions from last week.
Yeah, same.
Because we didn't get to it last week. And last week, man, I went on a real deep dive on how they excavate tunnels. And it's incredibly interesting. So
it really
we'll talk about that later.
Yeah. All right. This is something that we deal with all the time, which is decks.
Oh, I know a thing or two about decks.
You know a thing or two about decks?
It's been really embarrassing if I get this wrong.
Yeah. Okay. So I was starting to think, how many people really have a deck? Like how big is this market that we're even in?
Okay, yeah.
There are how many estimated decks in the United States?
Ooh, okay.
30 million, 80 million, 60 million, or 20 million?
30, 80, 60, 20.
30, 80, 60, 20, yeah.
Okay. These numbers are incredibly close to each other.
Sort of.
I wonder how many homes there are.
Bless you.
In the United States. I'll go 30.
Wrong. 60.
Oh, okay.
Estimated 60 million decks. I was like, that's crazy. That's like, I don't know, 1 out of 5. Like, there's 1 deck for every 5 people. Ish. It's amazing.
It's a lot of decks.
That's a lot of decks. 60 million. My God. So big market. Big market. And
oh God.
Most of them, a majority of them, have reached their usable lifespan. So they need to be replaced.
New deck. Sounds like a good time to be a deck builder.
Oh, yeah. All right. Well, all right. Hit me with the last one.
All right. Last one.
Yep. For all the marbles.
What is a raking prop?
I guess this is more tunnel stuff?
No, this is just general construction.
What is a raking prop?
Yeah.
My initial thought is like it's the guy on the crew that doesn't do anything, you know? Wait, hold that rake up, huh?
I'll give you half a point for that.
All right.
For the comedy in that.
A raking prop. Raking prop. I have no clue. What a raking...
I thought this could go either way because I didn't know, but I was like, this might just be a building term that I had never heard before. It is a... Do you want the answer?
Oh, wait. Okay. A raking prop. I'm going to say it's something for, like, raising, like, roof trusses or roof rafters.
No.
Okay. It's something to prop up, like a rake wall.
Close. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe I'll give you half a point. I don't know. It's a temporary support to stabilize vertical elements weakened during excavation or structural repair. So it's just a temporary support.
All right, I think that works. That works.
You gave like 7 answers that I said no to before you got to the right one.
No. You gave me half point for the comedy and then another half point for the... Okay.
For eventually getting the correct answer after I said no a bunch of times.
Okay.
All right, whatever. I'll give it to you.
All right, there you go. Okay. Talking about concrete, there are 2 main types of concrete. You have wet cast and dry cast concrete products. Mm-hmm. So, give me just run down some differences. I'm going to leave this kind of up to my discretion as far as explain the difference between wet cast and dry cast concrete. Besides like the super obvious, you know.
Oh, we can't give that one.
Yeah.
One is wet, one is dry. Like what do you mean? Like
how they're made,
how it's made, or like what are the benefits of them?
Either one. I'm leaving it kind of open ended, but you can't just say like okay, well we know what wet concrete is. You mix it up, and then it dries. But you know, if you just leave dry concrete mix out, it doesn't harden. Like what's the difference in the way that they make it, or you know, how does like a dry cast achieve any strength? Just run down any type of differences, and I'm going to use my discretion to say right or wrong.
With dry cast, you can add like some sort of cap to it. That's probably not the right word, but like like if you want it to be a different color, if you want some sort of variation, wet cast is always going to be the same color. Dry cast, you can have color variations within like a paver. That's how they do that. Like when you see like a splotchy or speckled paver, that's a dry cast. Wet cast is always going to be the same color. And dry cast is more textured. And I think wet cast is more more solid. All right,
I'll accept it. Yeah, okay. that was pretty good.
I'm not entirely sure what you're asking. No, you're not asking the poor method.
Well, there's obviously like one is more of a wet mix, one's more of a dry mix. That's like
Right.
obvious. So I wanted there's a bunch of differences, and
Right.
I think you hit enough of them there.
Okay, cool.
That was a really good way of explaining. Yeah, you can mix in. So I think what you were talking about was like a face mix.
Yes, face mist. That's
Of
the word,
doing
not a cap.
like finer aggregate in that top layer, and so a dry mix, it's a very crumbly, there is some moisture added to it, but it's mostly achieved by compression. They compress it into a mold, as opposed to mixing typical wet concrete, pouring it into a mold, and then vibrating it to get all of the air out. So, I think you hit enough of them there. Yeah, that's how they create kind of the difference in color variations with a dry cast concrete product. Great job.
Thank you.
So, all right. I guess that's a tie then.
Tie again. Okay.
Tie again. All right. We're doing great. We're really knowledgeable on this stuff here. All right. Well, that's pretty much going to be it for this episode. It's a new year. It's a new us. I think,
New year, same us, but better.
Same
we
us,
don't need to
better.
be new every year.
We don't. And that's
We're
new
great
for
the way
me.
We are.
Exactly. That's new for me. I really want to this year focus on those micro improvements I can make to just better myself and not, I don't need this major overhaul. We're good the way we are. And so are you out there. So, make some small adjustments, try to improve a little bit. But I think, if you feel this pressure to change everything in your whole life this year and just like attack everything with the most ferocity, maybe ease back on that a little bit and take it a little bit easier on yourself, because I think that's I think it's time for that. I think it's time for the culture to shift around like these insane challenges to improve yourself. Just be mindful of improving yourself a little bit at a time, and you're already pretty good as you are.
Yeah, 1% better every day.
Not even every day, because that might get overwhelming. As much as you can. So,
God, our messaging has really shifted from a year ago when we're like, let's do challenges.
Let's do challenges. Well,
just balance, just get by.
Just get a little bit better. Just get a little bit better.
Don't be afraid to challenge yourself, but also, it's okay to have a little bit of a lull. You're fine. You're doing great.
Just do it in a more mindful way. You don't have to. With some of these like challenges that people are throwing out there, I feel like you can feel like a hamster on a wheel, just going and going and going, and you're like, what for? What's the end goal here? Just be a little bit more mindful. That's what I'm trying to infuse in my life this year, is a little bit more mindfulness about why I'm doing things and the intention behind things, and what is that end goal, and am I getting closer to it? Yeah. Am I being gracious to myself in the process?
Profound. I can't wait to make a clip out of that.
It's going to be good. All right. Well, that's it for this week. I hope everybody has a great start to their new year, and we will talk to you next week, and we'll touch on some of that bonus stuff, which would be cool. So till next time, this has been the Hardworking Happy Hour.
See you next week.